Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. I am Jama Ratnayaka for the Newsfirst team. Up first in your headlines for this evening. Lifting emergency regulations would not impact anti-terror investigations. Assurance from security forces. Another garbage truck attacked in Puttlam. Police vehicle providing security damaged. The secret behind the Secretary of the Energy Ministry avoiding COPE. UNP to name presidential election candidate within 2 weeks. Gotabaya Rajapaksa graces SLPP Youth Convention. India's former Finance Minister Arun Jaitley dies at 66. On to those stories in detail, and your top story for this evening. President Maithripala Sirisena issued an extraordinary gazette with an order calling out all members of the armed forces for the maintenance of public order across administrative districts in the country. Sri Lanka Police today said the decision not to further extend the emergency regulations will not have any impact on the anti-terror investigations.
Ordinary gazette issued by virtue of powers vested in the President by Section 12 of the Public Security Ordinance states the Sri Lanka Army, the Sri Lanka Navy and the Sri Lanka Armed Forces are ordered to maintain public order across all administrative districts in Sri Lanka. Yesterday, the Ministry of Defence said the emergency regulation which was imposed in the country was lifted. Defence Secretary General Shanta Kottegoda said the move was taken considering the established security situation in the country. Police media spokesperson SP Ruwan Gunasekara, speaking to reporters today, commented on false information which spread following the lifting of the emergency regulation.
In May, an announcement was made banning 3 organizations, namely the National Tawheed Jamaat, the Jamaat-e-Millat-e Ibrahim and the Vilayat As-Seilani organizations. These 3 organizations were banned on the 13th of May 2019 in an order by an extraordinary gazette number 2321/03 and as per the legal provisions of the Prevention of Terrorism Temporary Provisions Act. Therefore, lifting the emergency regulations will not have an impact on the ban imposed on the said organizations, its activities as well as the investigations taking place on them. The suspects arrested and detained following the April 21st attacks were not held as per the provisions of the emergency regulations. They are held by legal provisions of the Prevention of Terrorism Temporary Provisions Act. Thereby, the lifting of the emergency regulations will not have any impact on the investigations taking place on the April attacks or the arrests or the detention of suspects. It will not have an impact on confiscating the property of the terrorists as well.
විමර්ශනවලට කිසිදු බාධාවක් නොවන බව සඳහන් කළ යුතුයි.
Another lorry transporting garbage to the Aruwakkalu sanitary landfill site was attacked with stones by an unknown group in Til Adiya Puttlam today. Police said one suspect responsible for the incident was remanded by court.
The incident, which took place at 2:30 this morning, not only damaged the garbage lorry but also did some damage to the police vehicle which was serving as its security detail.
Once
දැන් ටෙක් කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් යනවද ඒකේ?
දැන් පටන් ගන්න තියෙනවා. 2020 නොවැම්බර් මාස තමයි දැන් ශුරු කරලා තියෙන්නේ සම්පූර්ණ කොමර්ෂල් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් පටන් ගන්න.
එතකොට කෙළවර පිටියේ ඒකත් යනවද මේ මෙගාපොලිස් එකේ?
75ක් ඒකේ ඉන්ක්‍රීමන්ට් අසං කරලා තියෙනවා. මේ අවුරුද්දේ එන අවුරුද්දේ මාර්තු මාසෙ කොට පුළුවන් වෙනවා කොමර්ෂල් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් පටන් ගන්න.
ඒකේ මෙට්‍රික් ටන් දවසකට කීයද?
ඒකේ සර් මෙට්‍රික් ටන් 750ක් දක්වා යනවා.
එතන කොළඹ නගරයේ සම්පූර්ණම කුණු ටික එතනට
යන්න පුළුවන්.
එතකොට මේ කරදියාන් ටික?
කරදියාන් සර්
then the number of waste accepted can be increased. I think you can top 3,000 metric tons. How much of garbage is collected daily in Colombo alone?
දැන් කොළඹ නගරේ විතරක් දවසකට කුණු කීච්චරද?
දැන් සර් මෙතන 600ක් 500ක් 600ක්.
Meanwhile, CEB trade unions allege the Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, Dr. Suren Batagoda, is evading proceedings of the Committee on Public Enterprise or COPE despite being summoned by the committee. The trade unions claim the Secretary, who has been accused of multiple frauds within the CEB, is evading COPE proceedings until his retirement. The COPE had summoned the relevant officials of the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, including its present secretary Dr. Suren Batagoda, to inquire about emergency power purchasing and many other transactions that took place in the recent past. However, despite summons by the COPE, the secretary evaded COPE proceedings, resulting in the acting secretary participating instead.
අපට දැනගන්න පුළුවන්ද ඔබතුමිය කවද ඉඳලාද වැඩ බලන පත්වීම ලැබුණේ ලේකම්දුරේ
වැඩ බලන පත්වීම ලැබුණේ අද ඉඳලා ඇත්තටම
වැඩ බලන ලේකම් හැටියට මම හිතන්නේ ඔබතුමිය පත්වීමක් ලබන්න එපා
ජනාධිපති ලේකම්ගෙන් පත්වීම ලැබිලා
බොහෝ ගැටලු වලට
It was on the 19th of July we informed the officials of the ministry to appear before the COPE. The secretary, Dr. Batagoda, then requested us to postpone the date. However, they did not make a written request. As the responsible secretary, the committee must receive this written request. If not, you will face several issues. You must either provide answers on behalf of the secretary. As you were appointed the acting secretary with effect from today, will you be able to answer our questions?
ඔබතුමිය මේ සියලු කරුණු වලට පිළිතුරු හපයන්න පුළුවන්ද
සියලු කරුණු සම්බන්ධයෙන් ලේකම්
It will be difficult for me to provide the exact answers of the secretary. I am not informed of certain matters. I study the relevant subject. However, I will not be able to provide answers as my secretary. I received my letter of appointment only today.
බලන ලේකම් හැටියට අද පත්වීම ලැබුණේ
මොකද බොහෝ කාරණා ගත්තොත්
When we consider several matters, there were certain proposals that were directly intervened by the secretary himself, even more than the CEB. Though we summoned officials of the CEB, matters such as the power generation plan or the purchasing of power at exorbitant prices do not completely fall under the purview of the CEB.
ඒම සිද්ධ වෙච්ච දේවල් හැටියට නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ
මම හිතන්නේ ඒවට මේ ලේකම්තුමාම පිළිතුරු ලබා දිය යුතුයි
මම හිතන්නේ මමත් යෝජනා
Honorable Chairman, I propose that the secretary be summoned as soon as possible. There are many issues that needs to be looked into.
පුළුවන් තරම් ඉක්මනින් මොකද මේ දරන ලොකු ප්‍රශ්න ගොඩක් තියෙනවා.
කවදද දැන් ලේකම්තුමා එනවා කියලා තියෙන්නේ
සැප්තැම්බර් 8 වෙනිදා දිවෙන්ට පැමිණෙන්නේ
එමුණ අපි ඔක්තෝබර් 8 වෙනිදා කරනවා
The Secretary of the Ministry and officials of the CEB were due to provide statements before the committee regarding several matters, including the purchasing of diesel power generators with a capacity of generating 1 megawatt of power for a cost of 3 billion rupees, emergency power purchasing contrary to the Act, the delay in the long-term power generation plan, emergency power purchasing for an exorbitant cost of 32 billion rupees, expenditure amounting to 3 billion rupees incurred within the institution on an illegal basis, irregularities that took place when purchasing coal, evading payments to consumers contrary to the Electricity Act, losses amounting to 87 billion rupees suffered between 2016 and 2019, increase in interest payments and costs incurred when obtaining loans. A report submitted by the Auditor General said the Secretary had misinterpreted the Electricity Act when purchasing power for emergency situations. He has left the country to escape the court proceedings. The ACE power plant in Ambilipitia is operating without a license. This is a fake document that was prepared to obtain the license. The government does not have any shares in the Ambilipitia power plant. A license cannot be issued for this power plant and therefore the Public Utilities Commission did not issue one. Disciplinary action must be taken against this matter. Why is the Secretary to the Ministry and other relevant officials evading this matter? Members of Parliament and ministers representing the UNP say the party's presidential election candidate would be named within the next 2 weeks. Comments on this matter were made after last night's dinner party hosted at Temple Trees. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe had invited MPs and ministers of the UNP as well as representatives of parties who support the government to Temple Trees for a dinner. It was organised to celebrate the completion of 4 years since the government was established in August 2015. Since there is a flood at Sirikota, some went to Matara, some are at Sujiva Senasinghe's house because flood aid is distributed. Aid mostly comes as food. Yesterday, Fonseca gave out food and I do not know where food is given out today. We are heading in for another dinner. There's too much work these days. There are parties hosted by many presidential election candidates. I went to one hosted by Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca and today I am here for the one hosted by the Prime Minister. 2 weeks ago, one was hosted at Speaker Karu Jayasuriya's residence. There are many more to come. Our reporter said some MPs and ministers who attended the Mathura rally were present for the dinner as well. It is very clear Sajith Premadasa has the mandate of the majority to be the candidate for the upcoming presidential election. Within the next 2 weeks, our parliamentary group as well as the working committee will solve this issue. Do not worry. No matter what they say, I openly challenge anyone to join him for a debate. No one will join Ranil Wickremesinghe for a debate. No one can ever have a face-to-face debate with him. He is an expert in the game of politics and he is a good player. There is a leadership board. Our party has only one leader. It is clear in the party constitution. Meanwhile, the 260th and 261st model villages constructed under the Samatha Sevana program were declared open today.
The villages constructed in Vadivava, Suryavava in the Hambantota district were declared open by Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Minister Sajith Premadasa. The villages named Situpiyagama and Sahaspatgama comprise of 44 houses and were constructed at a cost of 39.5 million rupees.
We have launched a massive program to empower women to increase their income and to become the breadwinner of their families. We will provide financing as well as training and raw materials required for production. The final product must be sold in the market for competitive prices. Their products must be insured and protected. We must implement a diversified revenue generating system. We have made plans to empower women to lead the economy. We are currently in the process of implementing a national self-employment program. A separate office will be established within the Presidential Secretariat for this.
The National Conference of the Youth Front of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana was held today. The event was held at the Nelumpokuna Theatre in Colombo today. Opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa, presidential candidate of the SLPP Gotabaya Rajapaksa, national organizer of the party Basil Rajapaksa and several others were present at the event. Journalists raised questions from Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
වතුකර ජනතාවගේ දෛනික ප්‍රශ්න ජීවන වියදම නිවාස ගැටලුව අධ්‍යාපනය ඔබ සතුව පවතින විසඳුම කුමක්ද කියලා මේ සභාව දැනගන්නට කැමතියි.
A method to provide job opportunities to the same area they live in and increase their income should be established. If discussions are held with committee and a methodology to distribute income is implemented, it will be better.
උන්ගේ ආදායම වැඩි කරගත හැකි ක්‍රමවේදයන් සකස් කරන්නට ඕනේ.
මේ රැකියා කරන ලැබෙන වැටුපෙන් හෝ ආදායමෙන් ඉදිරියට ගමන් කරන්න බැරි තරුණයින් සඳහා ඔබතුමාගේ වැඩපිළිවෙලක් ඔබතුමා සකස් කරනවාද කියන.
රැකියා ගැන
Similar to discussing about job opportunities, we should figure out how to make the youth entrepreneurs.
ව්‍යවසායකයන් බවට පත් කරන්න කියන එක.
උතුරු සවා නැගෙන ඉර ජනතාවලට ප්‍රසන්න ගැටලුමක් වලට තිසාර විසඳුමක් ඔබ ගෙතු තියනවද කරුණාවෙන් කියා.
මම කියන්නේ අපි
First, we should do the things that we can do. I request the youth of the country to join us in this journey of moving forward as a country. I have served the North well, the Provincial Council and the elections. A number of years ago, not during our time, but the governments before us had provided weapons to friendly groups to battle LTTE terrorists. But in order to hold a just and democratic election, we took those weapons back.
සංවිධාන වලට දීලා තිබුණු ආයුධ අපි ආපහු අරගත්තා.
මේ අන්තවාදී ත්‍රස්තවාද වැළැක්වීම සඳහා ඔබතුමා ගන්න ක්‍රියාමාර්ග මොකද්ද කියන කාරණේ.
අද ලෝකේ සෑම රටක්ම ප්‍රමුඛත්වය දීලා තියෙන්නේ රටේ ආරක්ෂාව.
The policy statement titled Tarunyeye Neluprakasha was launched during the event.
මේ තරුණයෝ මතක තියාගන්න ඕන.
The youth should remember this. If the law was enacted on those who murdered the youth back then, there won't be any leaders or ministers to run this government. Us who then saved the youth are troubled today. That is politics. We fought. We risked our lives and brought peace to this country. That peace, that freedom we brought is being used against us. Here are some of the views expressed during a media briefing regarding Gotabaya. They should appoint an army commander as their candidate. How can a colonel who wasn't even in the country and who left two experts like Vijay Muniratna and Denzil Kobbakaduwa ensure the security of the nation? Mahesh Senanayake retired recently. Invite him. A country cannot be governed by just a national security. If so, there are better war heroes. Shavendra Silva is also a war hero.
චන්ද්‍රසිල්ල යුදවීරයෙක්.
ඒ වගේම දැන් ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයා ජනාධිපතිවරණයට ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. එතුමාට මේ එතුමාවන් කියනවා පුරවැසිභාවයත් මේ ඇමරිකානු පුරවැසිභාවය ප්‍රශ්නය මේ විසඳගෙන තියෙන කියලා. නමුත් එතුමාට ඒක හරස් වෙයිද?
මට හම්බුණා.
I found an American version related to the issue. I have it with me. Will you let me bring it here?
අවසර දෙනවද ගේන්න එක මම. මේක ඕනනම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් තියෙන මේක ඕනනම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ
If you want, you can take a copy of this.
කරගෙන යන්න පුරවැසිකම දුන්නාත්
Even if his citizenship is renounced, he has to live according to what the US wants. He has to live according to how the US wants for 10 years. He will not become the president. If this happens, he will be a professor in the white van culture. Now, I am going to reveal another secret that you do not know. Nalaka Godaheva made a deal with the Rajapaksas and he received a huge amount as commission. That amount should be given to the defense secretary. They were asked about the money. They said that it was given to a member of the Rajapaksa family. He was in danger and he went abroad with the president. I also went with Sajith. He was very silent there. I do not know what happened to the money later. They wanted to bring their relative Udayanga Veeratunga before the presidential election. Please ask them to bring him. He is the leader of the MiG secrets with the US. He has to sign weapons agreements with the US. He has to behave according to how the US wants for 10 years. If there will be any kind of war in the US, he has to support that war. All of these details are included in this document. If this is wrong, they should file a case against me. That is it. I am responsible for what I am saying. Now the joint opposition is saying the UNP is making deals with the US. First of all, you should stop appointing a US citizen as Sri Lanka's presidential candidate. Don't they have other politicians to appoint as candidate?
ශ්‍රී ලාංකික පුරවැසියෙක් පත් කරගනින්න ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂකයා හැටියට. මොකද පක්ෂවල මිනිස්සු නේද?
What assurance does the people have regarding this person renouncing his citizenship? Secondly, I do not believe he would win. But if Gotabaya Rajapaksa does win, for the first time in Sri Lankan history, the country's first lady would be an American citizen. His wife had not renounced her US citizenship. She is still a US citizen. The president would be a Sri Lankan while the first lady would be an American.
American පුරවැසියෙක්.
The public platform which enables the unseen and unheard citizens of our country to voice their hardships. The Gum at the Village Forum toured the country today as well. Our team, which travelled to several areas in the Badulla district, arrived in Bibila this morning. Area residents who were made aware of the service the Gum at the movement has rendered over the past 4 years lauded our efforts. Many people gathered around the People's Epistle today as well. The People's Epistle has been drafted seeking relief for 8 prime issues revealed through the Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign which was conducted with the assistance of the University of Peradeniya. Thereafter, our Gum at the team which travelled to Lunugala was afforded a warm welcome by area residents. Politicians come here during election season, look into the shortcomings we have, throw around some money and go away. They never do anything for the Lunugala area. The issues we face are immense. If tar is laid on 100 meters of a road, it is not done for the other 500 meters of the road. Neither the Sinhalese, Tamil nor Muslim communities will be fooled this time around. Many people registered for the Gum at the V-Force movement today as well. More than 200 acres of land has been destroyed during the past 2 days as a result of the fire that erupted in the Alla Rock area. Incidentally, several fires have been reported in this area throughout the year.
A fire erupted in the Alla Rock area, which is a part of Ravana Alla Wildlife Conservation on the 22nd. Sri Lanka Army, police, area residents and wildlife officers attempted to douse the fire.
ඇල්ල මාසයක් ඇතුළත මේ දෙවෙනි වතාව ගිනි ගත්තා.
This is the second time Ella caught up in fire. When the fire erupts in a small area, the disaster management unit should be able to control the fire. Some MPs, including ministers, use helicopters for everything. So when thousands of acres of forest land is on fire, it's ridiculous how the disaster management units say that it cost 100,000 rupees for a helicopter. We know in which areas these fires erupt and in what time period this happens. But we don't know who is responsible for this. We got to know that a suspect was arrested responsible for the time Allah caught up in fire before. But as we got to know, he was released after being advised. Yet no law has been enacted against any perpetrators.
දඬුවම් ලැබුණු කෙනෙක් නෑ.
In more local news now, the Police Financial Crimes Investigations Division has exposed serious corruption surrounding the purchase of 2 ships for the Ceylon Shipping Corporation between 2015 and 2016.
The Ceylon Shipping Corporation in 2015-2016 purchased 2 ships, namely the Ceylon Breeze and Ceylon Princess, each at a cost of $35 million. FCID uncovered the purchase was made by Avink International Beijing through an unsolicited proposal which led to serious concerns. According to facts presented to Fort Magistrates Court yesterday, the FCID, using data from CW Kellogg, recognized ship valuers, uncovered the value of a ship between 2014-2015 was just $20 million. FCID also uncovered the Price Committee and Project Committee in Sri Lanka had estimated the value of the ship to be $26 million. The ships were purchased using a loan of $35 million per ship from People's Bank. What is even more surprising is the FCID uncovered suspicious telephone conversations between the local agent of Avink International Beijing and Ranjit Premasivi, the ex-secretary of the Ministry of Ports and Highways. Examination of Avink International Beijing's local agents' Sri Lankan bank accounts revealed money was funneled from an account in the Emirates NBD Bank. From 2012 to 2017, around $43 million was pumped into this account from various foreign accounts belonging to Arinma Holdings Limited, registered in the British Virgin Islands in 2009. According to the FCID, the ultimate beneficial owner of Arinma Holdings Limited is listed as Devinka Rumali Pereira. The FCID uncovered Arinma Holdings Limited was listed as a party to contracts for the RDA's road development projects, including the A9 road.
2 Sri Lankans, namely Ranga Madhupatma and Sudam Gamage, who climbed to the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa, returned to the island last morning.
Mount Kilimanjaro, located in Tanzania, is the highest freestanding volcanic mass in the world. Mount Kilimanjaro National Park spreads over an area of 756 kilometers and it is listed under the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. 33-year-old Ranga Madhupatma and 36-year-old Sudam Gamage are both residing overseas in Australia and the United Kingdom respectively. They are both past students of Ananda College in Colombo.
Followed.
According to a notice issued by the International Cricket Council, there are certain clauses under the Code of Ethics to be followed by those governing the sports body. Thereby, for all those holding positions in their respective sports bodies that are falling under the ICC, there is a set of Code of Ethics which needs to be followed. It further notes that these Code of Ethics are followed to ensure a level of discipline in international cricket. ICC's senior legal consultant, Sally Clark, has signed this notice and it implements on all officials who are under ICC's cricket bodies. The expectation to be followed is mentioned as follows in a notice issued by the ICC today. An official may not have a business association, whether direct or indirect, or enter into any business arrangement, whether formal or informal, with any betting organization that involves the payment of any monies to or by, or the conferring of any benefits or advantages upon or by the official either directly or indirectly as a result of such association or arrangement, unless such association or arrangement is disclosed to and recorded and approved by the ethics officer. It's not permitted, and an official shall be in breach of this code if any member of the official's immediate family, being a spouse, parent, sibling, son or daughter, or son or daughter-in-law, has a controlling interest in a betting organization, a substantial relationship with a betting organization, or is employed in the day-to-day operation control of a betting organization.
A new law is to be introduced to SLC where anybody involved with gambling cannot hold positions in the sports body. We asked this from the ICC whether he can hold such a position. Based on the answer they gave, he cannot hold